Hi, everybody, and welcome back to our training all about lead magnets. In this in this episode, I'm going to be talking all about what is the best lead magnet to use and why, and some of the considerations you can think about when you're planning out your lead magnets. Okay, right, let's dig in. What I want to share with you first is just to the main considerations before you even think about format. Okay, is you've probably got some ideas now of the key questions that people are asking. So, as we said in previous episodes, a lead magnet is great for solving one single problem. And that problem is probably one that comes up time and time again for people and that can be really useful for you to solve as a starter problem to introduce them into your ecosystem. Okay. So ideally it should be kind of like an initial problem. Okay, now the next consideration is who is your target audience. So if you're ICA, if you hear me say ICA, just to be absolutely clear, that means ideal client avatar. Okay, so who is your ICA? So it really depends where they are in their experience. Okay, so if they're a real beginner, the format for your lead magnet might be totally different to whether you want to attract someone who is an expert in business. Okay. It might be that somebody who's never owned a dog before would have different needs to somebody who is kind of like they're experienced dog owner, but they've got a certain problem that they need solving. So this is what I'm going to discuss. I'm going to use a couple of examples to help you navigate your own ideas and figure out what the best solution is. The other thing to bear in mind as well is do some audience research. So whether that be like a mini focus group where you can get everybody together, maybe like give them a Starbucks voucher or something for turning up, and give it 30 minutes and discuss what kind of format they like to consume content in, what problems they might have that they need solving, what like ideally would be their ultimate problem that you could solve, and then just talk about like all things to do with um your business. So like talk about their dogs or talk about their online businesses if they're course creators. Just make sure that you have a look and do some research because it really is useful. Even if you're on a call with one person, record the Zoom call, see about how they're saying things, what they are saying to you about their problems, because it will give you a massive insight into what your lead magnet should be and what kind of learners they are as well. So a focus group or an ideal client avatar call can give you ideas. Okay. Just want to go into a bit of learning theory. I was a teacher for many, many years, a primary school teacher, so we did a lot of educational theory. And one of those theories was that the learners they can be very, very different. So there's many different ways of learning. I personally am very much a visual learner, so I like to see diagrams. I like things explained, not just one big chunk of text. I might like to see a flow of how to do something from start to finish because it makes me feel very relaxed. I can follow that. It's on maybe a printout that's A4. I feel way better than reading through like sways of text. But somebody else might prefer reading that text. Okay. Somebody else might want an audio track. They might be an auditory learner. So it's all about providing the best experiences for a variety of learners. Okay. Just go into a couple of others. There's auditory, visual. There's also what's called a kinesthetic, which means that people like to learn by doing. So you could have a tutorial that says, right, okay, get ready, I'm going to do this, and you do it. So that you're getting somebody to follow along and actually take action steps with you rather than sitting there being a passive learner. I feel it's so important just to mention those different learning styles because you can make so much difference to people and their success rate. So even I want you to even think about your lead magnet as being something that they're gonna definitely action. They're gonna definitely do, because if they feel success with that and they're like, do you know what? For the first time, I've downloaded a lead magnet and actually implemented it, and then I find success. They're going to be really excited about hearing what's next from you, aren't they? Okay. Some people are a mixture of both. So, like for me, it depends what it is. If it's something like I want to learn how to do a graphic on Canva, I want to be able to follow along with somebody, but I want to be able to see what they're doing at the same time. So, visual kinesthetic. Yeah. Somebody else might want to hear it first, then sit down with a video tutorial. Worth bearing in mind, that's all I'm saying. Don't worry about it too much, but just think about in the resources you're providing, having a variety of things. Okay. Right. So that brings me to my next point that just had a bit of a brain break there. Brings me to my next point that, you know what, when you're choosing what format of lead magnet to use, it's really important to try and get inside the mind of somebody who's going to use it. So let me give you an example. Say, for example, if leading on from the theme of a rescue dog. So let's picture this, right? Sasha, my little rescue pup, has arrived fresh from Romania. Well, she's arriving in 2 days, say, right? And this time I'm thinking, goodness me, I need help with how to settle her in the first 24 hours. I am not entirely sure how to do that. Now, I think somebody might offer me a cheat sheet on what to do. But ideally, do you know what? I would have loved at the time to have a video of someone with their dog, maybe a dog trainer with their dog, saying, right, this is what you need to do. You need to have a bed in the corner. It needs to be covered over so they've got a safe space to be, have the water nearby, have their food, so that they feel they can have a meal, they can try and eat or drink something without being seen. Have dark lighting. Look, this is how I've set up the room. Have a baby gate across so that it can't run out into the road. If the front, don't, just keep the front door shut. Make sure that everyone in the family knows what to do. It can't jump over the gate and escape and panic because it's in too many rooms in the house. Just have it in one. Make sure that you open the door quietly and don't step in really quick because it might feel defensive. All those things I would have loved to know, and I think it would have been more personal for a lead magnet to be done as a video and then maybe blended with a cheat sheet attached, so that I'm getting something that makes me feel that expert really cares about me, because I'm in quite a stressful situation and I want to get this right. And then after that experience, and Sasha arrives and I do all those things and I've got all those resources ready, I feel so proud of myself, because although, we had a couple of accidents and Sasha got out of the room once and she was running around the house and she was frightened. We got her back in, but we knew some of the techniques to use. And I feel way more confident. Now I want to know more. Now I'm curious. Okay, so for me as a beginner, that was right for me because it showed me. It didn't just describe, it actually showed me real examples that an expert put together. All right, it sounds like a lot of effort, but it's what I've been talking about in previous episodes about a lead magnet should be great quality to the point where you're like, do I really give this away for free? and then it's a no-brainer for your person to sign up. Okay, that's my first example. It might be that, you know what, you are attracting somebody who has had an online business for a while. They've set up the website, they've done all the things like social media, they've set up the bios, and they've been doing that, and they've been doing the social posts and creating content and things like that. And now they're ready to do their lead magnets. They're ready to set up those, and they feel like, okay, I'm all right with the lead magnet side of things. I've written it, or I've created my podcasts. I'm fine with that. It's just I'm panicking that I don't know how to nurture people afterwards. I don't know how to set that up. So therein, after, and then you look at closer then and think, oh, okay, is it the tech they're struggling with, or is it the email writing? And then you make a decision basically. Now I'm going to do two things because I find the tech ConvertKit quite easy to use. What I would do in that situation, I'm going to help someone at that stage of the journey, and that's my ideal client avatar. I'm going to not only help them with a template for their nurture sequence, I'm going to help them understand using maybe a cheat sheet, maybe a diagram of what goes where, first of all. So like you've got your landing page first, and then your lead magnet's downloaded from the first email, so it goes across. See, even me just trying to explain it to you is not as good as a visual. Okay, so they might need a lead magnet that helps them download a visual so they can see the process of how you would nurture a lead after they'd picked up your lead magnet. It might even be a full-blown tutorial if they were, say, for example, a beginner who hasn't written a sales page. That would look a lot different than if you were training a copywriter to write, like, say, a sales page. So like, what I'm trying to say is it really depends on your ideal client avatar. You have to get really, really clear. So if I was writing for business owners, if I was doing a lead magnet on sales pages for business owners, sales pages, how to write for copywriters, the language would be slightly different for a start, and possibly more explanation here for business owners of the context of, like where a sales page comes into it and what they need to prepare, and like little steps along the way. Whereas here, possibly with copywriters, there'd be more jargon in it, there'd be more tips on conversion, but said in a different way. I think you've really got to just home in on your ideal client, and that will become clear then, as to language as well. I think as well, like, you would make sure that things are fun. Okay, so what is it about your problem that you could make fun? Okay, I tried to do this in my lessons before I left teaching. Like, as you know, teaching was draining. I loved the kids, and like oftentimes it would be that I'd be jumping around the room trying to teach them timesing by 10 or dividing by 100 on a place value chart. Was very, very difficult. They just didn't understand it. So it involved me jumping around, making silly stories about zeros, and just they actually remembered because I made it fun. Now, I've got an example recently of a copywriter who did this with sales pages. It wasn't with a lead magnet, but it can be adapted to this, where she actually did a whole webinar about sales pages using props, she was dressed up, she was in character, she was using different characters, and it just came alive for a lot of business owners because they could understand like different characters speaking. And she explained it in terms of conversations. It was amazing. So if you can think about it that way, making it fun, like things like how can you make it interactive? So like quizzes are really, really interactive, aren't they? How can you make it highly visual? So you could use photos instead of loads of text. You could have 2 or 3 questions, make it really, really quick, and then they're done. And then you could give them an incentive download as a thank you. Tutorial videos can be way easier to watch, especially if you give them an option for an audio as well. So like they don't have to use all the data on the phone. If they're driving in the car, they could just be listening to it on audio. So if you give them like an audio track and a video, they could be listening to that, learning, making it kind of like easier to digest on the go, because like let's face it, a lot of people are on the go these days, aren't they? So anyway, that is just a few. Those are just a few ideas on how you can make it a bit more fun. I wouldn't make them too long either. Attention spans are going shorter and shorter, especially if you're giving someone an action point to carry out. I'd only give them one action point, possibly like a big action point, because people get lost. They get so overwhelmed. So make it short. Really less than 15 minutes, says me, with this video that's going on to 17. But make it short, make it sweet, and make it count. Okay. Good luck with your lead magnet creation. I can't wait to see what you create. Let me know, and yeah, we'll have more fun with lead magnets. There's a couple of tutorials coming up. Can't wait to share those with you on ConvertKit and System.io. Tune in, and I will be sharing. Okay, guys, have a great day.